Does she
Good
hear me?
afternoon, sir. I can
How
hear
are
you,
you?
sir. I can hear you.
I can
I'm
see
fine,
that
Daddy.
I was wondering, when did you become Oyibo?
No, sir. I didn't become Unibo. It's just the lights, the help of the lights. The light did the magic. And yes.
That's right. Very good. Well done. How are you?
I really like to welcome everyone to ANISA 2020. The theme for this year is sustaining peace together. And it's such a coincidence that Nigeria's theme is togetherness, so together is a theme for Nigeria at 60. And the truth is, I am more than blessed to have, he's a father to fathers and fathers, his granddaddy, great-great-granddaddy. He's just, I don't know how else to describe him. Our highly esteemed guest is the man who insisted on Nigeria's unity and ended a 3-year civil war with so much grace and patriotic spirit that his name came to become, they had to coin his name to be Go On With One Nigeria. He had pushed the slogan earlier that to keep one Nigeria is a task that must be done. He's the general of generals, a first-class patriot, and Nigeria's longest series head of state in one stretch. Since after he quit the stage as head of state, the elder statesman has devoted himself to several noble and lofty activities, including leading and forming the group Nigeria Praise. I am delighted today to bring to you all General Yakubu Gowon for this conversation with us, the youths. I wish we all can clap for him. Welcome, sir. Before I go on straight to the conversation, which is supposed to be very quick, I really want to say, I personally want to send a warm regards to Mommy Yakubu Gowon. I cannot.
Her name is Victoria, so you better don't call her Yakubu.
Mommy Victoria. Yes, sir. So like I said, the theme for this year is sustaining peace together. So I'm just going to go straight to the question. Daddy, thank you again for coming on with us. We really do appreciate your time. We don't take this for granted at all. So, sir, the question I always ask, you were about my age, when you became head of state of Nigeria. How was that, Daddy? How was that? How was it? You were about my age, because I'm 34 now. And so I started to tell you about my age when you became head of state. I just keep imagining, how was head of state at that age? How was it like, sir?
Well, thank you, Novo. Let me say hi to you, Novo, because it is through you that I know ANISA. ANISA, that is your group. And to say how delighted I am to accept, to talk to you, my young, well, you call me great-grandfather, so I'm delighted to be able to talk to you as a grandfather or great-grandfather or whatever it is to you, and to say how delighted I am. The youth have always been one of my great delights, because I've always said they are the future of the country, and we've got to give them all the attention, etc. And as I've said, I've always believed that our youth are the future of the country, and all that we need to do is to give them all the attention that they require, education, etc. And I'm sure during our talk, I will tell you, how, the idea of the youth service corps, or the unity school, the expanded unity school, and then the youth service corps, the importance that I put on that I believe in this youth, that if we can give them a good beginning and background, they will be the great asset that can make this country great, because they would have brilliant ideas, good education that they would have had, etc. So I'm delighted that we're having this particular program. And the first question you asked me was that how did I become head of state? As when I was 31 going 32. I was 31 going 32, and I can assure you it was not a plan. It was not that I planned to be a head of state. No, accident of history and providence. You can say providence, because I never the idea of me being either in politics or becoming a head of state never came into it. I was a Middle Peace officer, and I came into it by pure accident, honestly. To be head of state, no. My interest was just to be a good soldier. There was a coup in Nigeria, and the government of Nigeria, of Tafawa Balewa, Zik and Tafawa Balewa, was overthrown, and we had to do something. Those of us who were not involved, because I never expected it, even though on board the ship that I was coming back from the UK. On board the ship, I don't know why, when people knew that I was a military officer, they started asking me a question: do you think that a coup can take place in Nigeria? And of course, I was quite, say coup in Nigeria, impossible, because we are a political military and not involved, in coup or in taking over government. Ours is to be loyal to the government of the day. So I was saying it was impossible. So we, the following day, arrived. That was Thursday. Arrived in Lagos, and by 36 hours, within 36 hours, there was a coup in Nigeria, and I was surprised. I didn't know anything like that was happening. I was to take over my command of the battalion in Ikeja, 2nd Battalion in Ikeja. And it was only later on when the unit adjutant was going to his room, and I was my temporary quarters was by his area, by his place. And so I asked him what was happening, and he told me that, well, something has happened, and the general also had come, and the troops do something. So I'm quite surprised, and I said, why are we say here? Why not the brigade commander? That is the GOC. I said, why not informing the brigade commander? But to cut a long story short, that was informing the, and as I've said, I didn't know what was happening until when the GOC said that the Prime Minister and the Minister of Finance, Okotie Ebo, and probably some officers were missing, and they want to arrange for troops to go into Lagos. So that was the time that since I was to be the commanding officer, it is my responsibility to go into Lagos to deal with it. And so that was what one of the commanding officer who was the former commanding officer who was supposed to be in Kaduna by that morning, saw him at the battalion, and I sort of said, what is he doing here? And he told me, well, on his way he heard that there was some problem, and so he come back to see what help to give. But when I said that I'm going to from a troop into Lagos to deal with that particular problem, he said, no, but how can you do that? If you do that, who will command the unit? Well, I went, and we were lucky enough to be able to make sure that that coup did not succeed. And so that was how the coup and the rump of parliament, they were the accident, the discussion between them in the end turned out that when they came back from the discussion with that's the general, when they finished their discussion with the acting president and also the rump of parliament, we met at the force headquarters, and that was when I was informed that the acting president and the rump of parliament had handed over to the general officer commanding in order to restore law and order and discipline before anything, before it is returned to return to normal democratic system that we were following at the time. So that was what happened, and that's when Nigerian military then came into force. General Rance's government were able to foil the coup, were able to get those in Kaduna also under control, and the military started to really govern the country. And it was really a very sad event, because a lot of officers, the senior officers, very popular senior officers, were killed, and especially, unfortunately, from one part of the country, and also from the same school. I was the only one among them who survived. About five of them. I was the only one who survived. And so, of course, it was a very difficult period after that, although we were able to restore peace and order. It was all this sort of crisis that we were having got to a stage whereby in May there was some riot in almost one can say inter-tribal clashes between various ethnic groups, and things that really nobody would want. And it got to the stage whereby, although if we were able to get the situation under control, of course, later events, crisis that happened that led to the death of the GOC, General Rancy, and his host, Fajui. Unfortunately, that with his death, of course, there was a vacuum, and there was an attempt for about roughly 3 days. There wasn't anybody in charge. But in the end, it happened that in order to be able to bring the situation under control, we've got to have a leader. And I remembered my discussion was, well, if any senior person around, could be chosen to be, to be head of state. My interest was that leave me with the army so that I can restore the discipline and loyalty that I know it was when I was Adjutant General of the Nigerian Army before then. However, unfortunately, because of what happened previously, especially from January, that January the 15th school we had in Nigeria, the young officers that really carried out the only thing that one can do. I went down on my knee and prayed to God that this is not, certainly it was never my intention, but I asked God to give me the courage of Solomon to be able to really and restore normalcy in the country. And I can say after that was when I really seemed to have some strength and confidence to be able to do it. And how do I, go about it? Well, at that time around, usually they would have done the politics, but we had a very good civil service servants, very well trained, and they were very, very good. And so, of course, I had to also relate with them. They were the one who were asking. They want at least to give them a leader so that they can work with, and that they can be able to what they normally do to advise the leadership, the politicians in government, for them on how things should go. Mainly, virtually in control, I can assure you, in control. And I was asked, I was the only one that they will accept, to give them leadership. And so that was how
it all started.
Run the government with the civil servants, and we seem to share the same views and objectives. There was no political party, so your interest is just looking after Nigeria, Nigeria's interest as a whole. And so as far as we're concerned, the ideology that you have, yes, come, let us discuss the issue, and you can bring your ideas, and at the end, we consider all possible ways of dealing with that particular problem in the interest of the country, and and we'll adopt it. If it is a socialist idea, we accept it. If it is a conservative idea or any other idea different, if it is liberal, if it is whatever it is, if that idea seemed to be better for in the interest of the country, we adopted, and we were not slave to any particular either ideology or ways of doing things. But whatever it is always in the interest, of the country. And that was how we move on from there to the next stage.
Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Daddy, thank you so much. That was like a lot.
Thank
I'm
you.
so glad that they've restored history back to our schools. I mean, that was done recently. I mean, because Daddy mentioned First Republic and all the republics. I'm sure the young people amongst us do not, like younger people, because I'm also young. The younger people do not know the secondary schools pupils here might not have heard what First Republic and all that is. Well, Anisa, we have all those downloaded on the website. You can always look at it. Daddy, thank you so much. I would like to quickly recap what you said. Two things of the three things that I picked when you were talking. You said you were terrified as regards the fact that you were young, like us, when you came into power. Of course, that was terrifying. But you took it because you were chosen. You were the chosen one at the time. And there's something that was so key that struck me is that you went on your knees to pray. That's based on your faith. The only way you knew you could do that, or you could, lead the country, was to go on your knees. And that really struck me. That really did something for me. Like at that time, with the whole, whatever that must have been going through your mind, you actually had to turn to God first. And I mean, that is really key and what's noting. And then I think you talked about loyalty as well. Like everybody, then there was no party, there was no, like, the loyalty was for the country. Like whatever is good for the country is what everyone was after. And all that was just your experience those were your experience as the head of state at the time. Thank you so much, Daddy. Thank you so much for that. That was like a beautiful history we just took right now, history class. Thank you, sir. So I'm going to go straight to the number 2 question. It says, yes, sir. Many do not know that your great name, well, I think you actually answered this question in number 1 already, but I'm just going to read it out just to wrap it up. So many do not know that your great name, Gowon, also was coined to mean go on with one Nigeria, which is the value you still hold dear till this day. Could you kindly tell us about what endeared you to the notion of a united Nigeria? Because at the time, some persons wanted the country to be divided as a solution to, a better country, but you stood with the idea that no, Nigeria must be together. I do not know. I think it was God's calling that your name actually sounds like go on with one Nigeria, and your name is Gowon. So to me, it just feels like, I'm sure many people are just hearing for the first time, it feels like you were actually the chosen one to do this. But the question is, what endeared you? What did you see? What is something you saw that made you feel like Nigeria must be together? Was it something? Did you see anything? What did you feel? What was that thing that made you think that we should actually stay together?
Thank you very much. That second question from it, I will put great name. No, remove the great. It is just an ordinary name. But however, thank you for making it great. But I can assure you that name, Gowon. Now, let me just tell you the name Gowon in my language, which is one of the smaller tribes in Nigeria called the Angus tribe, on the plateau, means go one owner of Wong, means it is the masquerade grass masquerade grass masquerade. So that is the owner of gods, of that particular god. So now that is the literal meaning of that of that word, of that word. So now, but I can assure you, I read what is the meaning of Gowon. I read it on a page of one one newspaper, I don't know whether it was Herald or it was Sketch, whether in those days, or the Midwest paper, or Daily Times. But honestly, I read it like any other person that morning. What is if I mean, the meaning of God? And when I read it, it says, "Go on with one Nigeria." I said, "What? Really? Go on with?" And that was what I was trying to, to get Nigerians, to join me in keeping the country together, because there was a threat of the country breaking up, etc. And that was what I wanted. And I sort of said, so that is what it meant. Well, when I saw it, I said, if that was the case, well, honestly, this is what I've been praying for. This is what I want, because I grew up to know and to love every Nigerian that came across. I've met the Yorubas, I've met Igbos, I've met Fulanis, I've met various tribes in my mission school in Usasa, in Zaria. And so, honestly, I grew to know, all Nigerians, and to me, no difference. We only compete either in class or on the sports field. And that is that love and respect. Love and respect. We made friends with one another, men, boys and girls, and so that was how I grew up. To start off with. Then, of course, when I joined the military, of course, this is, if I'm more or less continuation, and that's the reason why I said, yes, if I'm in the comradeship, the relationship between us, and respect between other ranks and officers, irrespective of where you come from. My goodness, it was perfect. Now, that was the sort of Nigeria that I knew, even though you come from one particular place, one region or the other, one state or the other. No, that does not matter. But so when this there was this threat to the oneness of Nigeria, and certainly, I have always felt that I was a Nigerian, but I was proud of what region I come from, or from what tribe I come from, and of course proud of the home and the community that I grew up in. So you can see there is that love of the country. I don't know why, but honestly, I've always loved the idea of loving Nigeria, right or wrong, before anything. And if you do that, then you can accept to make sure that yes, you can be you will have loyalty. Loyalty to and love for your country. So the idea of go on with Nigeria really came at a time that I was looking for, trying to get every Nigerian to do so, and that I will commit myself to do whatever I can to make sure that we keep that that unity. And as I've said, I can assure you, some of the program, like the unity school that was started by the First Republic, I visited one of them just at the end of the Civil War, because when the Civil War started, most of these young people that were in this unit school, of course, had to virtually move move away to back to their home, safety of their home, etc. That was the example. So that go on. Yes, I saw in it. Yes, I should go on with one Nigeria that we can be, the older people can be taught, other old people can be taught how to make it their country integrate. So to me, I always say, I wanted to find out the name of the person, the young man who wrote that article in that paper. To know from who he was. I know a few people have claimed that they were responsible, but I was not sure of that. But if I can ask you to do a research, some of the Nigerian papers, that they from Herald, from I think is it the Sketch, and you have the Daily Times, and what is the Midwest paper at that time? Yeah. But how about, I think it is in one of those papers. And honestly, I said, it is to him that credit should go. That acronym was not created by me, for me, in order to make people to think that, yes, if oh no, this was done by somebody that I do not know, a young man. I do not know. I don't know whether he was a lawyer, a young lawyer, but honestly, that was how it came about. But because what I wanted, I do not want the breakup of the country, or separation, of Nigeria. Well, the only thing that I can do my best, and I did my best. But I do not know what others may be thinking. But I'm calling on all of you young people to make sure that don't give up hope on your country. Make it great. Make it great. And you will make it. The future is yours. At the moment, well, some of us, we are on a one-way ticket now. One-way ticket. But you have a long life to be able to make sure that whatever the temptation, whatever selfish interest people may have to wish, to harm the country, I beg of you to make sure that you do whatever you can to save it, and that unity of us together is a must. And relate to one another. You just compete, and I remember as this thing I used to defend the younger boys when some of the bigger boys used to bully them. I used to fight on their behalf. And when we were leaving the school, those young children say, "Oh, God bless you. God bless you." And that blessing, I think, had been going with me. And of course, also helped me to be able to really extend that to the young group. I was planning either to have a state that is either 7 states or another 12, and so that at least there's no correlationship with the colonial provinces or provinces under the colonial legacy. And so that was another structure. And of course, if is it 12, 20 or 7, I think they did another one where I think they wanted to create, is it how many more? Well, many more states were created up to that, and so it got up to 36. But the one of 207, I think that request so that the states would be created would be increased to about 54. And of course, it is becoming rather difficult because we are actually going back to the provincial, if it was that the original provinces that that we used to have in those days. But these are some of the things that that is engaging the minds of a lot of Nigerians. People seem to wish to have more states. I think in the papers today, I saw it's a group within the Bielsa. I think they want, is it the Anang and something they want a state of their own. So I think if we're not careful, we will have they will all revert to local glorified local government.
Messages to us saying such a great man. My word is from the people, from the audience right now, that he's a great man, he's such a big daddy, and also I'm going to do this so you know that I'm the only one that thinks you as great. So thank you so much for to explaining. Two things you said too was asked what endeared you. It was just, it was love, and you chat the young ones to just take on that value and keep loving. I mean, good, bad, and that's the truth. I mean, when people get married, really, or in whatever kind of, you don't leave. You mean in sickness or in health, whatever, you be there. It was just love, pure love. However, it's with Nigeria. Thank you so much, Daddy. Thank you. I'm just going to go straight to number 3 question. We're almost getting to the end of this, and it feels like it shouldn't end, but I'm just going to go straight to number 3 that says, it is a public opinion that for lasting peace to reign. Now, you can actually answer that again, but there's some other, there's a part B of that question. You said, okay, I'm going to take it again. Public opinion that for lasting peace to reign must be divided. The question was, what is your take on this? And what do you think are a realistic responsibility of every Nigerian or institutions, starting from the federal government, I mean, local, states, religious institution, educational systems, and of course we the youth? What are our realistic responsibility in the pursuit and sustainability of peace and unity in Nigeria? What's really our active? Because I had a discussion with my friend, and he said to me that he thinks that the home front we shouldn't put everything on the government, and I don't know, but it's like the family has a huge role to play. That's my opinion. And he said to me that they really trust their imam or their pastors are those they listen to more, to play as a huge role to play, as a matter of fact, in charging the people to pursue. What is your take on that? What are the realistic roles that you think the youth must take on, the family, our parents must take on, and the government must take on in the community in Nigeria?
Well, let me say this. I think I've touched on it.
Can you hear me?
Yes, in my rambling under the item 2. what role or part should the youth, for example, have in keeping in a peace and and the unity, peace and unity of the country. I think when I said that my belief in the youth and the way the youth, have taught me how, I think how Nigeria, Nigeria should be. The example that I gave of the Unity School in Sokoto, and honestly, as I've said, that was the sort of Nigeria that I want, to see, that we can be able to live at peace with one another, irrespective of your faith, belief, or ethnicity, or they call it now, what do they call it now? Something nationality. So so as far as I'm concerned, the youth really, initially, from the way they were brought up, say at home, home and community, that's initially where they have the initial grounding, how to behave, how to relate to one another, and of course, some of the things that we hear happening to young people these days by some terrible group is sad. But at least, you start some of the values from from home, and probably home is also related to the religion that you belong to, or the faith that you belong to. You have sets of value that you have to obey, to help you to grow as a responsible person. I believe that these young people tomorrow, when they have any responsibility in the country, they will not be thinking only of their own particular area where they come from, but they will also be thinking of that particular area that they went to serve in, and they would also make sure that whatever they are doing, whatever may benefit, should benefit any part of Nigeria, that part also would benefit.
It's our nation, and then we just have to that is just a responsibility thing for us. Basically, that is what I totally got from that answer. That is the last question, very last one, and it's quite short. I wish I was with you live. I've always dreamt to be there with you. We basically shared a lot of things. I mean, I feel so privileged to say that I also went to a mission school. Well, over like 20 years ago when I graduated. Yes, 20 years years ago when I graduated from secondary school, and it was a mission school. So I totally agree with you when you said that the responsibility of the youth is your encounter with the young people, because children do not learn hate. They only know how to love. Adults teach young people hate. And so what you said now is we should be like the kids, we should be like the young ones who just love, regardless of tribe, regardless of religion, regardless of whatever groups we from. It's just focused on the fact that here we are one day together. So this is the last question, Daddy. What is if if I was with you right now, well, I'm here with you. It's like if I was live with you, what is that one? Is it phrase, sentence, value? Would you tell me as the most important in life? Like we all, the young people are all here. We like to tell us, you know, that is most important in life.
But honestly, you know, my belief is that all the values, like some of them that I enumerated earlier on, for example, they are all important, and you know, it is what makes you the whole, the complete person that you should be, and therefore you should not just separate one or the other, or just say only two. If you forget the others, time will come where you may disappoint in others very badly because you are not following up, you know, to the ideal or the value, you know, those other values. Now, but I suppose if you want to say what is the important you know, value, love, you know, and respect, you know, at home, to me, that is very, very important. And you know, because as you love someone, or even at home, you would do everything. You will be honest with everyone, and you will ensure that you have integrity. Yes, so to me, probably that is a way to start. Now, I do not know, for example, if I ask you, what value do you think is more important to you now? You know, that you would like to make sure that you pass on to, say, your children to start off with, and then ensure that later on you add those other values, you know, to them, to make them complete, decent, you know, people that really would be an asset to not only the family, but to the community as a whole, nation, and then humanity.
I what you said, because that's where we're, for me, like
Sorry?
you said, it's respect, like you said. I don't know any other value. Selflessness. Yes, selflessness is another value I can add to, like, one should be selfless in life. That is one part towards. That's a, yes, sir.
So that is good. Yeah.
Permits me to recover.
Yes. So that we are. I'm sure if we ask.
So this is where we're going to end. I don't. We actually they're all on mute, but their messages we'll collect what they're, but they are mute, so we can hear them. But we are getting their remarks on the chat.
Okay.
So that we don't want to keep them now. We really hope for another opportunity. We hope we'll have another time to speak with you, but I really keep you any longer than we have done already. And so I would really like to just recap what you said last to every Nigerian. We're going to take it on in sustaining peace as a team for Anisa 2020. And the thing Nigeria is together. What we should take home and take till our grave is we must learn to love and respect each other. Love and respect. Love is not enough. Respect is not enough. Love and respect are conduct that he has said to us as the most important value, as a foundational value for us to move Nigeria forward together. Because we individually cannot do this alone. We all need a mutual love and a mutual respect to actually take us to the promised land. That is so much. I feel like going on my knees to say thank you, sir. I'm going to do that. Thank you, Daddy. Thank you so much. I'm taking a bow. We really do appreciate your time, sir. It was such an honor, a privilege for the time that you had us. We do not take it for granted. Daddy, thank you. Thank you. Mommy, thank you too. I hope you live for make it possible, because I'm sure you did a lot to make this happen. Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Daddy. Thank you. And I think I would let you come on. You can say thank you with me.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I can see Vivian.
So this is what
I can see Vivian. I can see Dr. Fidelis Achoba, but he seemed to have run away, and Brian and Michael Ogunfowo. Michael, yes. Just some of the few people that I can see on the screen. Thank you all very much indeed. God bless you. I see Tony Ayaban. Yes, Tony Ayaban. Thank you, Tony. God bless you. Thank you all very much indeed. Nice.